wonderful people, Irina Heaver here in sunny Dubai. And I'm here with a friend of mine, Hubertus. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for finding the time. You're a very, very busy man. You're a chairman of Tezos Foundation and also a partner in a VC fund based in Dubai. So a very busy man working on amazing projects. For those who may not know you, can you please introduce yourself and especially let us know how you got in the crypto space, because surely you did not start in the crypto space. So what made you move and what brought you here?
Yeah, so my academic background is in finance, but I quickly moved into the gaming space very early on. So it was actually 1992, so you can now calculate how old I am, where I had my first engagement in the regulated gaming industry. And grew up the ranks in a large organization in Austria, which was one of the largest terrestrial and mobile games companies in Europe back then, owned by the Austrian National Bank and the Austrian lotteries. And I worked for this entity in different parts of the organization for many years. I was CEO of the Swiss Western European division for almost 10 years. And after that, decided to jump on my own entrepreneurial route and co-founded a company here in Dubai, which was in the mobile game space.
When was that?
This happened in the year 2011, right? So a lot of time happening in between, a lot of things happening in between. And the reason why we set this up was because back then there was a lot of content in English for a large market, which is the Arabic audience. And it's obviously a very interesting market in terms of demographics, and therefore we decided to set up an entity with localized gaming in Arabic. We were the first ones doing that for mobile games. So we distributed over Facebook, but later on over iOS and Android. And this company called Babil Games became very successful, and in 2016 we were acquired by Stillfront, which is one of the largest players in mobile games worldwide. They are based in Stockholm and listed on the NASDAQ, and they bought us out. And from that moment onwards, kind of tried to diversify my activities into different stuff. So not only games focused, but also into more different digital verticals like marketplaces, like big data, and like blockchain, because this was about the time when I got first in touch with crypto. It's happened in 2014. Funny enough, the reason or the way how I got in touch with it, because a friend of mine owed me some money, and he asked me if I can repay the loan in Bitcoin.
Okay,
so in 2014. So
this friend is now hating you?
No, actually, we're still very good friends, and I'm very grateful for kind of his introduction to this new landscape. And obviously, I helped him to get a hold of other projects further down the line. So it became the friendship is still on.
Oh, that's good.
This enabled me and forced me to get into touch with crypto and to understand better what Bitcoin is. I opened my first Coinbase wallet,
2014?
Yeah, back in the very frictionful back then. So it wasn't easy to do that. And so then I entered into it, and then obviously I got exposure because back then I was based in Dubai as well as in Zug in Switzerland. And as you know, there were a lot of foundations setting up their crypto projects in Switzerland back then, like Ethereum, Cardano, Tezos, others, etc. A lot of other projects happening out of Switzerland as well. So I got exposure to these projects because most of the foundation lawyers, they were my lawyers back then in the gaming business. So I got the deal flow very early. And so it's also the way how I got the opportunity to become a backer of the Tezos project pretty early. And this is basically the whole route from gaming to crypto, but obviously the portfolio of our venture capital firm, which is it's a family office venture capital firm. It's basically my partner and myself investing our own funds. And we create SPVs for follow-on rounds in case we need more capital. But our focus is all around social impact kind of verticals. So basically stuff that kind of enhances not only the bottom line, but also something more. So just to give you an example, one of our portfolio companies is one of the largest online grocery stores for organic products in the US. Another one is a a fintech company, a bank that focus on sustainable energy and with a very interesting way to engage the crowd and to motivate them to invest their money in sustainable and renewable stuff and renewable products. Another product that we're invested in is waste to energy technology to solve the problem of landfills. And last but not least, I had the impression that also blockchain has the opportunity to kind of change some paradigms and to the better, and create financial inclusions, remove some gatekeepers, remove some middlemen, create more efficiencies, and that got me excited to dig deeper and to also invest in it.
So with all your active investment activities in the crypto and blockchain space, what do you think about all the new trends that are emerging almost every other month? So last year, DeFi was the flavor of the year. This year, it's NFTs. Are you excited about DeFi? Are you excited about NFTs? What attracts you? What interests you more?
Well, I think we are still in the very early stages of this technology, and it's very normal that an emerging technology tries to find its use cases. In the beginning, the blockchain seemed almost to be the solution looking for a problem. Now, obviously, we get into kind of more applications that have potential, as I've said before, to really change some issues in our society. And I think DeFi is one of them. I think it's early stage. The thought model is super exciting. Same as the idea of the ICO back then was an interesting model, even though most of these projects failed. And I think when I remember back then, it was said, the VC space will be completely disrupted. Will be disrupted. We don't need venture capitals anymore, venture capital investors anymore.
It's dead.
But this obviously didn't happen. And the same thing is a little bit now with DeFi, where it says we don't need the banks anymore, we don't need the middleman. It will take a while, but I think the thought process is super exciting.
In the same way, when the smart contracts just started kicking around and everybody was telling everybody else that the lawyers will become extinct and we can all just pack up and go home.
There would be a waste to have people like you extinct. Imagine that.
I would be so happy to be extinct. I would rather sit in my house in the forest and drink Prosecco rather than being a lawyer. But guess what? It's been my 20 years lawyering and I don't ever see stopping, because with all this innovation coming out, you actually need more lawyers who are specialized in emerging technology space. Are there any other NFT projects you want to give shout out to? Anything exciting happening on Tezos blockchain?
I mean, the NFT, I think, is a total different ball game, because in DeFi you're touching a very sensitive part, which is the regulatory part, and that obviously is a longer shot towards adoption, mass adoption. NFT is less subject to regulations because we are talking about content, right? And I think the exciting part about NFT is that you will see not only the creation of some digital art and some music content on the blockchain, but most of all, if you think about what this can unlock in the terms of IP rights, so the digitization of IP rights, you can actually give a value to that and to make transfer of ownership way easier. I think that's super exciting and will probably be the real use case for it. But I think in the short term, we'll see a lot of interesting stuff happening in the art space. We are working on very exciting projects with large corporate partners in the sports industry, in the motorsports industry, obviously in the arts industry. I mean, and then obviously super excited also about the music industry. I think to digitize content and to give more power to the creators of this content compared to the platform owners, which are currently having all the power in the marketplace, in the value chain. I think that's also a very interesting use case.
What's your prediction for the future? Predictions are hard, especially those about the future. But what is your prediction for the crypto and blockchain space till the end of this year? What are you mostly? Short term. What are you mostly excited? And do you have any predictions for us?
Well, I think a lot of this everything that happens in the blockchain space is centered around Bitcoin at the moment, because Bitcoin is driving a little bit the industry. It's sort of the reserve bank of the whole industry, if you want.
It's the third largest currency in the world now.
Yes, and a lot of projects in the blockchain space have exposure in Bitcoin. That's why many people, they don't get it. They keep talking about, Bitcoin is slow and doesn't have the technical capabilities, doesn't have any intrinsic value. But who cares? That's not the point. It's the reserve currency of the whole industry. And I think that's the really exciting part. And I think the better Bitcoin will obviously perform, and it will, because it's of its token economics and of its mathematics. this will also drive kind of the rest of the industry in terms of excitement. In terms of adoption, that's a different use case, but a different question, right? Because I think a lot of the projects that you see out there, which have very high valuations, they so far didn't deliver on the technology side. So it's going to be interesting to see if these high valuations are justified by engineering work. And there are other projects who probably are very strong on the technology which is not yet reflected in the market price. I think there will be some equalization further down the line. But I think towards the end of the year, I see a lot of excitement in the space simply because Bitcoin will go up. And
okay, so your prediction, Bitcoin will go up?
I think I'm pretty much with our friend Tim Draper,
okay,
who is also a major stakeholder in Tezos.
Okay, so shout out to Tim and let's give a shout out to Joseph and their fund.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we became an LP in their Draper Colton Home growth fund. So Tezos Foundation became an LP there. Communication, I think, goes out tomorrow. So it's
fantastic!
It's actually,
so we're like
it's
getting
actually
the
not
front,
even a big secret anymore.
We're front running the news, but by the time this video is edited,
yeah, totally. That's why I'm confident speaking about.
Let me just tweet it. Well, it was amazing having you here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.